What's up, guys? This is Kephas.
Welcome to SBA Spotlight. In these videos, I'll be covering how well the single button assistant performs for each spec, what it does well, where it falls short, and how to get the most out of it, especially if you're looking for a lower stress or more accessible way to play. So whether you're here to relax, overcome a limitation, or just see how far one button can take you, I've got you covered. Alright, so how well does the single button assistant work with balanced druids? Insanely well is my answer. In fact, I'd have to say that of all the classes I've tried out so far, Balanced Druid has impressed me the most when it comes to the single button assistant because of how much it's able to do. And what makes this even crazier is how well it's performing. According to Wowhead, using the single button assistant should get you around 84% of your maximum DPS potential, which far exceeds my expectations when you consider all that it's capable of. So what all can it do? Well, everything. It'll maintain your dots, manage your astral power, keep core abilities on cooldown, switch between single target and AoE accordingly, and along with that, keep up the appropriate eclipse. And it stays consistent, adjusting the list according to your talent tree. It'll even place ground targeting abilities like Force of Nature and Wild Mushrooms over your target if you happen to choose those as talents. I feel like Balanced Druid showcases just how smart this tool can be. It makes things like multi-dotting very easy because as you switch to different targets, it will prioritize the dots if they're not already applied on your current target. It even adjusts pretty well to your hero talents. For example, if you go with Elune's Chosen and you pick Lunar Calling as a talent where you're only going into Lunar Eclipse, then it will only try to put you into Lunar Eclipse. It will also adjust your Eclipse based on single target and AoE scenarios. It'll even put you in Moonkin form if you're not already. Just in case you really are checked out, and if you're using this, you almost could be. Like with all classes, the one ability that your single button assistant doesn't manage is your main offensive cooldown, Celestial Alignment, or its upgrade, Incarnation Chosen of Elune, if you go with that. The good news is that Celestial Alignment is off the global cooldown, so you are able to macro it in with your single button assistant along with any unused trinkets that you have. I'll post the macro in the description if you want to use it, but before you do, there are a couple of things to consider. Aside from the Incarnation upgrade, Celestial Alignment can be altered depending on which talents you choose. The most popular choice is Whirling Stars, which will give Celestial Alignment 2 charges. So if you macro Celestial Alignment in with a single button assistant, then it's simply going to be using both charges right away, essentially wasting one. Alternatively, if you choose Orbital Strike, it'll turn Celestial Alignment into a ground targeting ability that will deal damage, so you wouldn't really want to macro that either. So it's there if you want the simplification, but just be mindful of the talents that you're using. When it comes to accessibility, this is a godsend because Balanced Druid is an incredibly fun class to play with interesting mechanics in my opinion, but there are a lot of things to track. You've got dots, you've got resources, you've got eclipse. There's a lot to keep in mind, but this tool will cover all of that, and it's a significant cognitive load decrease for sure, and especially if you're someone like me with a visual impairment and you struggle to track multiple things, this is really going to help you out at a relatively minimal DPS cost when compared to a lot of other classes. For anyone wondering how this stacks up against my GSE macro, always keep in mind that my macros are designed around simplicity and accessibility. They're always trying to achieve exactly what this tool is doing the best they can. And frankly, the single button assistant is doing everything way better. If you're using a macro like mine, then you're still essentially going to have to manage your dots on separate buttons, or with modifiers, you're going to have to use a modifier to switch between single target and AoE, and frankly, it doesn't perform nearly as well as the single button assistant is doing just because of how smart the single button assistant is. It's much easier to use, it doesn't require any setup, and it's an overall win in just about every area. So even with the global cooldown penalty, balanced druids are performing exceptionally well with the single button assistant. You should be able to do a decent amount of content with it, and it's certainly going to reduce your cognitive load and things that you're going to have to track. You'll probably want to manage celestial alignment on a separate button, but you do have the option to macro it. Those are my thoughts and what I've learned so far, but if you've learned something that I haven't, I would absolutely love to hear from you. What do you think of the single button assistant and how is it working for balanced druids so far? Let me know in the comments. With all that being said, I will see you guys on the next one.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button. And feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. And if you'd like to see more videos, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook, and if you'd like, you can support my work on Patreon. Links to all that stuff can be found in the description below. This is Kephas. Until next time.